Hello, and welcome to another episode of Addled Building with Akiva. Now, as some of you are aware, I'm not actually Addled anymore because I have to record these at night. It is what it is. But I will be working on this, and also a heads up. This is the previous project from I believe last week or the week before, and this is now on the workshop. So take a look at that. There'll be a link in the description. So yeah. So you might notice that this looks a little bit different than it did last week. Kind of a disclaimer here. I was trying to get a thumbnail done for the YouTube video because I always do my thumbnails after I do the recording. And silly me, I ended up working on it for a half hour to get a basic shape done. And so, yeah, that happened. And I ended up just moving the thrusters around and kind of got stuck on where I wanted to do the thruster placements, and I just don't know where I want to do the side-to-side thruster placements. I think what I'll do is have them here on the side like they are right now, but I need to fly it around a little bit and see what it's or how it's going to work. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Now, a couple of things you might not know about when you're building is, come on, give me my HUD, thank you, is that occasionally when you're building something, what you want to do is just go around and just, first off, turn on the debug and show center of mass. So, center of mass right now is right there. Now, that's not right. I can tell you that right now, that's not right. And I have a feeling that's because you have the little SV thing here. Anyways, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is just save it. First, I'm going to turn this off. Filters, SV. Trying to remember what I said it, or, oh, right, okay. And I'm going to go ahead and, now that it's saved, I'm just going to just copy that block, make sure that this actually has, oh, it's got generators, it's fine, okay. So what I can do is just go in here, go into the building tab. Again, to open this debug menu, you just hit N on your keyboard. Control Shift A, and then just hit that delete selection. Now, I don't do the keybinds for this because, well, it's not my workflow. Let's just put it that way. It's not that I don't know what the keybinds are for most of them, I just don't do them most of the time. So I need just a basic cockpit. Let's get that back off my hotbar. Let's go ahead and fix the third-person camera view. I know it's not great. Whatever. Wow, that's actually not that bad for what it is. That explains why the camera was so wonky. Yeah. I didn't realize that was there, so that explains why it's so freaking wonky. So right now this is just a shell, but it is very, very nimble. Let's take a look at the stats on the P menu. Wowzers. Okay. I am very, very happy with that. Now I'm just gonna park this over here. And since I don't need these to be as far forward as they are, I might just move that whole thruster assembly back on both sides. So let's go ahead and spawn this one with the stand again. And let's go ahead and select the engine component here and move it back to where I want it. What did I select? I was... okay. Turn selection off again. I am going to leave those pieces there because I just don't know at the moment. So let's cut it and paste it and move it so that it actually lines up to where I want it to line up. Huh, okay. You know what? I think that looks fine. Right. Might actually want to turn on symmetry plane for this because, well, yeah, save yourself some time. Yeah, that might be smart. Did not mean to get rid of that thruster, but you know what? Don't. I'm just not gonna worry about it. Don't really care, not gonna worry about it. There we go. Simple fix. So it occurs to me, why am I trying to cover up these engines? It's just not worth it. I mean, we tried to do that in the last episode, and it failed absolutely miserably. Like, I just undid all the changes that I did, that I spent some time doing, and I was just like, no, just no. Well, that's just glorious. So oftentimes when I just want to deal with space by when I want to how do I want to say this? A lot of times when I'm building something and it's like a small ship and it just doesn't seem to want to fit because whatever reason there's just too many places where you have thrusters that are exposed like this. I will just go in and I'll add these like deco items because I'd rather just fill space with these deco items that take up less weight and less blocks than just going in and trying to shape it and add visual I don't, just adding visual complexity by just putting these devices here instead of trying to build it out with blocks all the time, if that makes sense. And this thing needs some storage. I forgot what I was saying. That's great. Try different things is basically the point of that. Just try different things. Don't stick to the same thing all the time. That should be steel because I've got something that I want to protect there. Okay, before I copy this and do the whole copying it to a new place, let's go ahead and texture it, and that way I don't have to texture it later. I just don't like having to texture something that requires 3 different textures on 3 different surfaces multiple times. So often what I'll do is just what I did right there is texture it and then just control A paste or control right click paste it or copy and paste if that makes sense. So it saves you time with not having to texture that over and over when you're using repeating textures. Those CPU components are going to have to be moved to the sides somewhere, but for the moment I'm not going to worry about that. What I can do is go into selection, select that, cut it, and paste it forward a little bit. And then what I can do is just move this forward again. Or if I'm a smart person, I can do one better and put it down here. How am I still under CPU? Doesn't make any sense to me. How? Oh, because I only have GATs, and I only have Gatling turrets, and I only have Gatling guns. That makes more sense. So you might be wondering, why are you doing that to the container controllers? What I want to do here is that container controller that's connected to that one, I want to make sure that it is connected in a way that the one that's directly next to it is not going. So if these, how do I say this? If that explodes, it chain reacts container controllers next, the container controllers next to it. But if you only have one container controller connected to it, that one doesn't produce enough of chain reactivity to explode the large cluster of them, if that makes sense. It should make sense since I explained it that way. But yeah, it's something that I do, and it's something I try to do, I guess I should say, to make sure that, yeah, that's still a very crappy amount of container extenders, but it is what it is. I prefer to put the core back here. And I'd also like to put the CPU components back here. I don't think there's enough room to do that, which is sad, but okay. Don't ask me what I'm doing here. I don't know. I'm just testing out shapes to look cool, just to see what I can do with them. Okay? Don't ask any more questions, because I don't have any more answers. Let's not do that. Because I could be taking blocks off of above, you know? So let's turn off symmetry plane if I'm going to do this. And let's not put CPU extenders back there. Let's just put fuel tanks. Yeah, I had that just there as a placeholder, and it never really sat right with me. And I was just like, no, let's not. The same with these things. I just don't feel that they fit the build, you know? I think something like this, where you actually lean into the shaping of the thrusters, is more advantageous than yeah, it's just more advantageous than trying to hide them. And then what I can end up doing is simply just using just using this as a shaping mechanism, and it's just no sense in overbuilding it. Just trying things. I didn't know if pipes were gonna work or not, but just trying things. Alright, now I need to figure out or start thinking about where I'm gonna put the cockpit and then the internal layout. So let's go ahead and get that done. Because I don't want the cockpit too far forward, but at the same time, I don't want it too far back. Now, one thing that I like to do when I do a sort of cockpit build like this is I like to add something functional. I like to add functional things around it, so when you get out, you have like a O2 dispenser or a medical kit like right outside the cockpit. So let's go ahead and get the O2 station. And let's turn off symmetry plane because I don't need that right now. Let's put that there. Huh. I thought that I had done that. Interesting. I thought I had put an O2 station there. I guess not. But that does remind me I need to put shield capacity or the shield stuff components in it. But yeah, I thought I had put an O2 station in that slot there. Guess not. Yeah, that model's properly janked. That's interesting. I just like putting fins on things, okay? Just give me a moment to see if this is feasible or not. Uh, I have a feeling it isn't, but anyways. Might help if I turn symmetry plane on. I wouldn't mind this if it wasn't for that gap there. But since I don't like that gap, I can just fill it in by doing that. Fill in the end of it doing that. Simple as that. It's not that hard. Alright, well that is going to be it for today. Got most of the shaping done. The internals are going to be the last thing that I need to deal with. And maybe some more body shaping on the back area and the underside. But anyways, that's going to be it for today. I hope that you have a day. Let me restart that. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Remember to be kind to your fellow humans. Set yourself up for success. Now, I'm going to provide a practical example of this instead of an actual abstract like normal, okay? So stick with me. So, when I say set yourself up for success, here is a practical example. When going to the DMV, oftentimes I will see people go and they will go and then they'll realize they don't have a piece of documentation. Now, when I went to change my license plate, or my ID recently, I set myself up for success. First of all, I visited their website, checked myself in, and made an appointment on the website. Yeah, you can do that now here in the US. And I made sure to go through the documentation for the process of what I would need. So when you go through the process, you set an appointment time, you say what you want to do there, and then it'll give you a short overview of what you need to bring, what forms of ID verification you need to bring. So, not only did I look at their website, I also just Googled, hey, what do I need to bring here? Just simple Google search. What do I need for doing this? Getting an ID replaced, or a new ID. And so not only did I do the steps laid out by their site, I independently double checked through like Ask Quora or something. I don't know what it was. I don't remember. On top of that, it said you needed two proofs of where you live. So 2 pieces of mail that proved where you live. Well, I was like, screw that. I'm gonna bring 3 different pieces of mail that prove where I live. You know, like one from X company, one from X company, and one from the government. One from the government, one from like the bank or whatever, and one from the like healthcare or something. I don't remember what it was, but they were all addressed to my current address. So when I say set yourself up for success, go the extra mile to be extra prepared, okay? Build in redundancies if something doesn't work. If one step doesn't work, then build in a redundancy wherever you can. It's just like building an Empyrean, okay? When you build an Empyrean, you could get away with 1 generator, okay? You could get away with 1 generator. But add extra generators. But just add an extra generator, okay? Or if you have Wi-Fi extenders. What if one gets blown off? Okay, well, you just have another one extra. Just add redundancy. Like, certain things you can't be redundant, such as, like, warp drives, you can't be redundant. Yes, I'm coming back to Empyrean here as the example. Certain things you can't put redundancies because you only have 1 of such things. So, yeah, can't do a redundancy there. But where you can have redundancy in a process, set yourself up for success and bring an extra thing. Anyways, that's all I have for today. Banshee out. Bye, everyone.